Hey guys, Rob here and welcome back to another Konjure cast. So first, you may have noticed that I'm outside today. It's an absolutely perfect day, so I figured might as well just drag the camera and the mic out here and hang out in the backyard. I didn't feel like getting the office all set up to shoot, so we're outside today. You also may have noticed that it's been about 4 or 5 weeks since I've posted any videos, and honestly, it's kind of been deliberate. I wanted to focus more on skating and less on talking. Obviously, I'm here to share information with you guys and hang out and talk about skates and new products and stuff and Konjure stuff and, you know, just all of the things. So I'm here to talk about it, but in order to talk about it effectively, one really has to do it. So I wanted to spend the last month just skating, and by skating, I mean skating as many days a week as I could, getting out to the skate park, getting into my new G boots setup. I don't know if I can focus there, and really just enjoying skating, enjoying the setup, and then giving myself some time to kind of reflect on really the setup and the different components that we threw together for this specifically, so that I can come back and talk about it. And that's what I want to do today. So we're going to take a look at these boots, and I'll give you kind of my rundown of how the first month went in them. It's been good. It's been really, really good. Also, we have some, what else do we have? Oh yeah, the new Compass wheels are in. So I've had them in for a few weeks now. I did some traveling. I was out of the country and I just have not had a chance to get out onto the trail. So we'll talk a little bit more about the new Compass wheel offerings. What else? We've got an airplane flying over, so I'm really sorry about that, but again, we're outside, so we're just going to deal with it. Hopefully the mic is picking me up and not the airplane. We've got a couple Konjure announcements. Well, I'm going to tell you that we will announce something. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but that's about it. So first, I really want to talk about the new G boots, and this is we'll say this is a review of the G boots, but it's really just a review of this whole custom setup. At the core of the project, though, was the G boots, and at the core of the G boots, we have the USD 7 shell. So really, I want to talk about that first. You guys have, you know, I'm sure seen lots about it. It's not really the most popular shell out there, but over the last few years, more and more people have been getting into it. Roman had the first USD 7 Pro, I believe the first USD 7 as a USD 7. I could be wrong on that. Maybe he didn't have the first USD 7 Pro boot, but maybe the first skinned USD 7. Anyway, so though that was pretty cool. You guys saw Lawrence's review, and he had a great time skating in them. I skated them last summer, so it was July 2018. I did the 30-day blade challenge where I skated almost every day up until it was the last day of the month. I think I blew my knee out. But for that whole month, I was skating the USD 7s when I was doing my aggressive stuff, and I absolutely fell in love with the boot. It's a simple shell. There's really not much to it, but the benefit there is that it fits pretty much any foot shape. I have a weird shaped foot where my heels are narrow and my right big toe is a little bit longer, and the knuckle part of my toes are a little bit wider, and I'm just kind of picky about what shell I squeeze my foot into, especially as somebody who likes to downsize. So I'm a proper 10 and a half. Sorry, we have another airplane. 10 and a half shoe, but I downsize into 7 and a half, 8 skates. So like my USD Aeons, USD 7s, even in the Adapt Customs, I was in a 42, which is like 275 millimeters. So squeezing down into a little teeny skate. But this shell still enables me to fit comfortably within that, and with the MyFit crown liner. So I talked about the crown liners before. Really the primary reason I like them is just the comfort factor. It's a good, dense, thick foam that just really locks the ankle in. The liner itself is pretty supportive, so it gives you a little bit of a comfort on the side-to-side flex when you're doing topside stuff and boning over on royales and favres and stuff. And then the liner has that nice silicone outer grippy stuff, which locks it into the shell really well, so I don't get any heel lift. Overall, just a great liner, and it's absolutely perfect for that USD 7 shell. In these skates, we'll talk about kind of the skins later, but we also went with the new King soles. So Andrew made me another custom set of soles for this frame. I'm sorry, for this skate and the frame. He kind of did it all together. And I've been absolutely in love with these soles. Obviously, UHMW slides like butter on pretty much everything. And then I'm skating mostly indoor park and a lot of coping stuff. So I'm skating like mini ramps and bowls and stuff. and just absolutely flying around. These things slide fast. They look good. They're holding up really, really well. I mean, these are machined out of, it must have been an inch thick block of material here. So there's a lot of matter going on. It's just a nice design. Overall, I mean, I don't really know how to talk about soles other than they slid really well, they look good, they fit the skate super well, and I'm happy with them. The backslide groove is absolutely beautiful, matches up with the H-block super well, and just really cool soles. If you guys have any type of skate and you're looking for something that's a little bit better, a little bit custom, or a little bit different than what's available, please hit up Andrew. There's a waiting list, so you're gonna wait for it for a while, but I absolutely promise the wait is worth it. He will take care of you and make sure that you're absolutely happy and make something that you want. So you tell him how wide you want it and any little details, and he can just make it happen. So that's it's a pretty cool asset for us to have in the industry, somebody that can just kind of make custom parts that are almost better than the stock parts, and essentially from hand, using some basic tools. You also may remember from the last video that I'm using the frame sliders. So Andrew made me a set of the side plates for these Kaiser Element 2 frames. I was skating these Sola frames before, and one of my complaints with that frame was that I was getting a little bit of stickiness on top sides. Aluminum slides fast until it stops sliding, and then it sticks, and it's pretty scary when that happens sometimes. With this frame, I could have done it with the Sola frame as well, but with this frame, I just wanted to, right out of the box, have it slide perfectly. So Andrew fashioned these plates for the frames, and it's like sliding on a butter. Absolutely amazing feeling. It does not interfere with the function of the H-block at all. It's not wide enough to interfere with my soles. I mean, these are really wide soles anyway. So it's just really straightforward. They slide well, they protect the frame. I'm not getting stuck on top sides. Dogs barking, sorry. So that was a really cool addition. I can't really give you the fairest review of the Element 2 frames in that I'm not skating them in a stock configuration, but as they are, I will say that this is probably now one of my favorite frames ever. I know I say I love everything all the time. I'm just really enthusiastic about stuff. But let me kind of be honest, I was skeptical about this frame. More than anything, the groove to me seemed really, really deep. I've had so much luck with shallow groove frames like the Symmetrics frame and the Sola frame, where skating flat with a very shallow groove and not having any issues with wheel bite. This super deep, or at least deep appearing groove to me was slightly concerning. I thought that I was going to sink into the groove, and then my wheels were going to impact and rub along whatever I was trying to grind, and I was going to get some wheel bite. What I will say, and it's kind of my observation about this H-block, is that it's almost an optical illusion. If you use the bottom line of the frame and kind of disregard all of the metal on top of that line, it's not a very deep groove. I mean, I can't really like block it, but this material that projects here doesn't really count. It's more of like a wheel protector, such as you'd see in the Caltic frame or the K2 frame, but it doesn't really impede you any other way. I am not having any issues with wheel bite on these frames. And another disclaimer, like I said in the last video, I am using a smaller wheel in these. These are the Eulogy 54mm Metatrons in the middle and the Go Project 62s on the outside. I wish I could use, some Konjure wheels or, something that we produced, but for this specific size, we just don't make them. So I had to support these other fine brands. So with the smaller wheels, I'm probably getting a little bit more clearance in between 2 and 3. I don't know if it's enough to really make a functional difference. The skate will ride a little bit lower because I'm not maxing out the full 68mm outers and whatever 60s on the inside. Sorry, another plane. We're just going to get used to it and get through this. But so that may have given me a little bit of an advantage. I will definitely say though that the frame length, I thought they were going to be a little bit short, and I'm absolutely happy with the way they feel. There's a slight, maybe 1mm rocker here, which gives me just a little bit of swooshiness, which I've been enjoying. Overall though, just a solid frame. The mechanism in which the The frame spacers hold the wheels, everything spins nice and freely. I can crank them down really tight so I don't have any binding issues. And then obviously they feel solid when I stomp on the ground. My boot goes thud, it doesn't clack around. And when I push into my stride and really get into my urethane, I don't have any flex coming out of those frames. It's just my foot connecting straight to that urethane, or so it feels. I know that I have some disconnect with the sole plates, etc. But it feels so much more solid. There is nothing like the feeling of an aluminum frame, and it's not always going to be the best application for aggressive, but especially if you're a park skater like me, I have no reason to not skate an aluminum frame, especially one configured like this. I did get the chance to try these soles out on some concrete ledges at some parks, and it's rough. It's kind of like, I'd say, akin to a skateboard truck as far as how well it slides, and it's, I mean, dimensionally, the contact surface point is probably pretty similar, and I'm sure the aluminum must be pretty similar. So certain grinds I can muscle through, like a Royale. I was doing some Soyales last night, and I was getting into it and it was going fine, but I really had to kind of push through the slide. I can't imagine that a back Favre would have worked out. I probably would have just stuck and fallen forward on that. But so really and honestly not the best for concrete. I'm sure if you have a perfect ledge or properly prep it and wax it. This stuff was chunked out from BMX and skateboards, and it was an older skate park, so I didn't have the best surface to work with anyway. But coping, angle iron ledges, these things absolutely slide beautifully. I like the feeling of the control of aluminum on a steel rail. It's, you can imagine steel on steel would just be very slippery, where you're just sliding out, kind of like when you grind on a PVC grind rail. There's no resistance to it, so it's almost like it slides too fast. The aluminum, on the other hand, though, it slides well, and it slides better than plastic, and it slides better than plastic even without the use of wax in most cases. But it still has a little bit of a grip to it. That aluminum is softer than the steel, and you can just feel a little bit of control in the grind. So I've been doing frontside Royales. That was kind of a grind that I grew up doing, that I stopped doing, and I didn't really do it as an adult. I've been getting back into them, and my Royales feel good and controlled. Just feels good. So overall, great frame. I know the guy that designed them, and he's a smart guy. I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to him too much about it yet, but I'm very happy with his work. The original Element frame was absolutely beautiful, and this newer version I think is even better. So let's get to the G-Boots portion of the G-Boots. They're skins, and people are going to think, well, it's just a skate and the skin is decoration. This skin absolutely does change the feel and slightly changes the function of the skate. Like I explained in the initial video, the feeling of the skin wrapped around the boot, it kind of just pulls it all together. I don't have laces through the shell lace loops. The laces just go into the skin on top of that. Might even eventually open up and maybe get rid of the lace hole area on the shell part to allow for some more flex on the top of the boot, but I don't have any problems with that. The way these laces lace in, and then I have one lace loop on the upper part, the front of the liner up behind the tongue, or I'm sorry, in front of the tongue, the laces are completely locking me in, so I have no need for any type of heel strap. It's a good, secure fit overall. The way the cuff functions with the skin around it, the cuff, it's kind of hard to see here. I don't want to go to a close-up today and show you all this because we're just talking about how I enjoy the skate, but the cuff locks into the skin here, so I think when you articulate the cuff and lean into it, it all just kind of feels more close and tied together. So that's, you know, as far as the function goes, they function really well. As far as durability goes, I know I'd mentioned in the original video that the skin was tough leather, like it's buttery soft, supple stuff, but it's thicker and it's stronger and it's good leather. Let me say that I fall a lot. My landing trick ratio might be like 25%, maybe better than that on my basic stuff, but in general I fall a lot, and when I fall I'm kind of dragging my skates across the ground. I've not had any stitches pop so far. I've not busted any holes in these. I did have a little nick along the toe where I caught a screw head. One of the ramps I skate, in a particular part of the coping, there's a screw head that sticks out, and it always puts scratches in my skates and takes chunks out of my sole plates and stuff. and it bothers me. But other than that, I've not had any damage to them. The areas that I'm rubbing against, it's just kind of turning shiny. It's not, there's no like real abrasion to it. It's not wearing through it all. I foresee these lasting a very, very long time. They're absolutely beautiful. They were really cool looking when they were new, and as I'm breaking them in, kind of past the initial fear of scuffing them up, now I'm liking the way they're looking, and like they're just kind of worn in. These are boots, so they should wear like boots, and these are G boots, which the boots of the soldiers, so they're not meant to be abused and enjoyed and worn. So the skin quality is top notch. It just looks cool. I like the way these look on my feet. The Adapt skates are obviously beautiful, and when I looked down at my feet, they just looked like these fancy gray skates. They were very slender and slim and kind of petite looking. These are fatter and wider and just kind of burly with the shiny H block, and they're black with the black laces and the black liners, and they just kind of look rock and roll, and I like it. I really, really like it. I like the way they look on my feet, and then I like the way I feel when I'm skating in them. There's something to be said about like when you have the right pants on or the right shirt on or whatever, you just kind of like feel good and you're feeling yourself when you're skating that day. When I'm in these skates, I feel like I look good skating, so it kind of like makes me stylize the way I move a little bit. I'm sure to anybody else observing, I just look like goofy, normal Rob with no style at all, but to me, I feel cool in these skates. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about them. Everything's just working fine. I've had probably gosh, a dozen or so good sessions, a few hours at a time in these. I'm not experiencing any fatigue or any foot discomfort, no pressure points. Just, I really can't complain about it at all. It's a heavy skate. It's definitely a heavy skate. We're starting with the 7 shell, which is a big shell, and the crown liner, which is a dense liner, and then adding extra skin to it, and then the beefiest sole plates ever, and then an aluminum frame, which is definitely going to weigh more than your average plastic. So it felt a little heavy at first, especially like the first day riding like a 6-foot mini. I could feel the weight of my feet a little bit, and as I got further into the session, I could feel my legs fatiguing a little bit, but it makes you stronger. So that's it. I've gotten used to it over the last couple weeks, and I don't feel the weight anymore. So yeah, that is about it for the G boots. I'm going to continue to skate these. I don't want to switch it up yet. I'm really enjoying it, and there's nothing else that I'm really interested in getting into right now. I'm sure as we get into the next season, some new products will surface. Honestly, I might even want to get another pair of G boots set up in the future. I've got kind of some ideas for another project, so maybe we'll even see another pair of these in the future. And I also want to see more people with these in the United States. So again, if you're interested in picking up a set of G boots, whether it be just the skins or complete boot only, they're absolutely both available. I can't remember the pricing. It was like 79 euro or 279 euro skin versus, or just the skin versus the complete, or at least the skinned boot. I will again confirm the prices for that and put it in the notes below. But if you're interested in picking up a pair, please hit me up, or you can just contact the guys at G Boots. They're on Instagram, so you can find them on G Boots there. Also, if you hit them up on Facebook, they're pretty quick to reply to their messages there. Feel free to shoot me a message anywhere. You guys know where to find me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have or connect you with people that can answer questions about G Boots specifically. So yeah, I'm going to continue skating these. I'm absolutely loving them. I'm going to mix in some clips with the editing with this video, so you can see me skating a little bit in them to prove that I have been. So yeah, that's the G Boots. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is the new Compass wheels. So you guys know Lawrence from 50/50 and Back to Blading and Gear Talk and just all over the place. Lawrence is an absolute machine. He is everywhere. I said it before, he's like the blading MVP. The guy works a full-time job, has a beautiful family, takes good care of his wife and kids, and he still has time to not only run a really, really popular podcast and YouTube series, but also also brought 50/50 back to life, and that's just been going so well for those guys. Lots of people loving the 50/50 frames. Lawrence just released the 58mm 50/50 wheels, as well as the 50/50 bearings. So all of that stuff has been going beautifully. It's really, really great to see him succeeding and successfully bringing that classic brand back to life. Lawrence is an absolute good guy and a great friend, and he's putting a lot of himself into blading, and it's great that you guys are supporting him back. So with that, I want to talk about Compass wheels. So Lawrence is not just into aggressive. He decided to get into some kind of urban recreational FSK big wheel blading stuff, so he launched Compass wheels. I'm familiar with the manufacturer that he went with to produce these wheels, and they are a top grade manufacturer. These are good wheels. You guys have known perhaps one or two other brands that have used similar urethane and configurations, and those are good wheels as well. Initially he came out with a 72mm wheel and the 100mm wheel, which I'm holding here. I have not had a chance to skate the 72s yet. I intend on putting them in my Wish frames. I've only skated the Wish frames once in the last month or so for a street session, and I was in a rush to get out there, so I didn't have time to throw the Compass 72s on there. So I'll get around to that. Hopefully when I get back on some Wish frames, I can tell you guys more about these 72s. But this morning I got out for the first time since last summer to do some good big wheel blading out on my local trail. So here in the Orlando area, we've got the Seminole Wekiva Trail, where basically from start to end and back, it's about a 15-mile skate. I used to do that every single morning as my daily skating and exercise. I logged over 1,000 miles in 2018. I have not logged any miles in 2019. I took the skates off as far as the distance stuff right when I hit that 1,000-mile mark last summer, and then dove back into aggressive and just have not gotten back into it until today. So I got out this morning. I set up my Power Slide Tau, which is my favorite FSK distance, trail, marathon, everything I want to use it for with big wheels. Trinity frame setup, absolute favorite boot is for non-aggressive. It's just a really great boot. And the 100mm Trinity setup is one of my favorite all-around frames for just kind of blasting around the city. It's not my go-to for distance and trails. I use a longer 125mm three-wheel setup for that. This is much more zippy and maneuverable and good for just kind of cutting down sidewalks and between traffic and through parking garages and all of that fun urban stuff. But I did get out for about 8 miles this morning on the trail, and it was nice. It was really nice to just get out where I was familiar and where I could go fast, and there's some hills to zoom around, and I just had a really good time. The wheels themselves feel really good. They're a little bit softer than I'm used to when it comes to the big wheel stuff. I tended to ride the undercover T-Rex wheels, which are a round profile 88A wheel, so it's almost like an aggressive compound on a 125 wheel, and I really enjoyed those because they lasted a long time. I'm not heavy, but I'm kind of on like the 190, 200 pound side of things, and I tend to wear through wheels a little bit faster than your average little person. Those 88 undercovers lasted a long time. They weren't really the grippiest. If I hit like a little patches of sand or puddles or paint stripes on the crosswalks, every once in a while I would scoot around a little bit and get some slide. These wheels are an 85A, which is kind of as soft as I would personally go, but they felt good. They felt cushy and grippy. It's just a comfortable ride, and there's something to be said about having a good, comfortable skate. When I got out there, I didn't want to go too far. I didn't have anything in mind. I just wanted to just be out in the sun and the breeze and in the air and enjoy time on wheels, and that's what happened. Black urethane, black core, really cool graphic. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check out the graphic, but these are all based on maps of places where Lawrence enjoys skating. These are the Chapel Hill specifically. Black on black just looks great on this skate, so I'm really happy with that. cool wheels, really, really cool. He's got the 80 millimeters coming out soon. I think the pre-sale launch for that this weekend. I'm definitely going to be ordering a set of those for my USD Aeon 80s. So hopefully I can get those in soon and then share that with you as well. But yeah, Compass wheels. So if you guys are setting up your big wheel skates, hopefully you guys all have your nice purpose set up. Big wheel skates for getting out and hitting the trails and flying around town having fun. Definitely hit up Lawrence and Compass Wheels to outfit your skates with some good quality urethane. So what else do we have going on? Konjure brand is going to be making 2 announcements this month, 2 new products. So I am not going to tell you what either of them are today because it's a surprise, but I'm very excited, and I think you guys will be too. We've been doing really, really well with the wheels. The Smith wheel is selling like crazy. We are sold out of the shred pool wheels, so although it's sad that we are out of them, I've got a couple sets saved for a rainy day in the future, but I'm so happy that we sold all of them. It was really cool to get so many of Shred Pool's wheels out into the world, and I'm still seeing setups pop up all the time with them, so that's really great to see, and I appreciate the support. We really, really appreciate the support. So stay tuned, a couple Konjure announcements in the next couple weeks of some new stuff, and that's all I've really got going on. I'm going to continue to just get out there and skate as much as I can, 3-4 days a week. I'm going to try to keep improving my self-filming skills. I'm not the best skater, and I'm pretty self-conscious sometimes about my skating. I know it doesn't really matter, but it's like, I feel like you guys don't really need to see it if it's just sloppy. So I think if I film it well and more than anything just have fun, it'll share a little bit better with you guys. So I promise to work on that and keep going with that. Otherwise, that's all I've got for now. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Happy skating, and that's it. All right, guys. Peace.